Favorite things to do. Honestly, my favorite fish to cut is tuna, but I prefer to cut the entire fish myself. Unfortunately, we don't always get orders that are that big, so it is what it is. Let's see what we got going on here. I wonder if I can add music. This is my first actual live that I've done where I could actually have a conversation. So most of the time I'm just kind of running around. Today I just got a few orders that I have to prep for the next few days. So nothing major. We do have, we're going to set up the live chat so you guys can all go for it. You know, talk to me if you can. I prefer to have a good conversation. Obviously I won't be able to respond through touching my phone because I'll be cutting fish. Oh yeah, just so you know, if you want to purchase our sauce, it's called Sushiwill sauce, or excuse me, it's OG shrimp sauce. That is the name. So the original shrimp sauce, obviously, or you can call it the original gangster shrimp sauce. The company's name is Sushiwill sauces. You can purchase our sauce probably on my Facebook, Instagram, or on my website, hansushicatering.com. That's HON for Han. And of course, you gotta follow Han Sushi Catering with my, YouTube channel on Sushiwill25. That's my tag / nickname. Long story, but fun story. So, let's see what we got here. As I always say, the unveiling of the tuna, one of my favorite things to do. While I was in Tokyo, I got to cut the best tuna. I mean, oh my gosh. I've never seen tuna as amazing as I saw there. The Toyosa Fish Market. Money, money, money. That's all I got to say about that. It's exciting. Of course, I want more, but we're not in Tokyo, so this comes off the Toyosa Fish Market too. And it's very delicious, but it does have to be, second choice compared to what they're giving at Toyosa Fish Market because they play favoritism over there. And I don't mind it that much. I'm a little jealous. Maybe one day I'll open up my own little sushi spot in Tokyo. They're kind of cool. They want some American sushi over there, and maybe look at that. Woo! I mean, damn. I'm gonna take my glove off just to show you guys. Shoot. Now that is freaking beautiful. I love my tuna. Yeah, let me just flip that camera around for you. You don't have to look at me when you got this beautiful thing to look at. Jesus. Look at that shine on that. What? I mean, golly. What a perfect piece of tuna. Now this is a back corner of the tuna. You won't find any belly on this one. No, it's the back. Yeah, this is the front here. I see there we got a little belly, but it's still delicious and amazing. Obviously, I can't order a gigantic tuna, but it's definitely awesome to get what I get as fresh as we do. Most people do not know how to cut Saku block. That's what we do here. We cut the Saku block and we prepare it fresh to order for each person individually. Let me go change gloves. Now, I wish I can go live on Instagram and YouTube at the same time, but that is not how that works. So, first things first, we are going to portion the tuna. You want to cut it, I'd say, about maybe 11 or 12 inches. Roughly, depends on the actual size of the fish. Sometimes, you know what I'm going to do it this time, just so we know. We'll take this end piece off first. Just because there could be a gaff mark where they stabbed it, because they don't like to make the fish fight too hard because it gets warm. The meat will get warm and then it'll ruin the meat. so they don't like to drag it on the boat. They gaff it instead, which serves the purpose of bleeding it, and obviously dragging it on board. At the end of this thing, I'm definitely going to be eating some beautiful fish. One of my favorite parts of my job is I'm always the first person to try it, no matter what, because I'm the one who cut it. So first up, we're going to do it this way so you guys can see. This is the skin. You try your hardest to keep the skin off the board. I have the little board so I can turn it sideways if I need to. And we're going to do that so you guys can see. Preferably, I like to use the long knife for this to get more clean, long cuts. All right. Next, we're going to move this to the back. Move this to the front. I try to get one thing done at a time. First, obviously, cutting the skin off after portioning it. Now here, there's always a little piece of fish that kind of gets in the way, so you can just kind of move that back a little bit. This could be a little bit tougher. It's taking me a little time to get used to the whole talking to the camera thing, because sometimes there's nobody inside the actual chat, there's nobody in the actual room, which is fine. Maybe I should share this with Facebook Live. I think that'd be a good idea. As a matter of fact, I might be able to do it right now. Oh, we're gonna share with Instagram. Well, that's so convenient that I could just share like that. That is amazing. I won't have to do 2 videos anymore. We could just stay on one chat. Bam, shared. See if we can get any action. Hopefully nobody misses anything. Yeah, and I have a really good, goofy looking picture for my cover. I must have done that by accident, but whatever. I guess it doesn't really make a difference as long as we're doing something fun. Ooh, yeah. So inside here, when you get the whole tuna, there's a little tiny bloodline that you gotta get out, and it does go deeper than you'd like it to most of the time. So you gotta get in there and find the actual line that it's on. This one's actually really good. There's barely any bloodline, and it's super fresh bloodline. That's the best. Look at that, that's gorgeous. I just love fish. If I were to pick any food that I couldn't live without, it would definitely be fish. Any seafood for that matter. You gotta have the seafood. So the next step will be Alright, so we put all the fish on here as we cut it. And then we have to bloom it by putting it in a really cold ice box. Super important to bloom. Now each tuna, you'll learn as you learn, cut more and more, it's gonna have a different grain than the last. It's almost like a fingerprint, the way the grain works out. So you got to be real careful about which way you're cutting it. I guess you just have to get enough practice to understand the fish. The more you understand, the better you get as a chef or whatever you plan on doing. If you're just doing it for fun. Most people are like, do it for fun. What are you talking about? Yeah, this is fun. We're going to try to go sideways here for you guys to see. This is the bloodline. Not really a good thing to eat. You can eat it, but it's got real high levels of heavy metal. And, when you test the fish, that's the most important part, is to make sure the bloodline is good. Bad bloodline, bad fish. Bad tuna, I should say. Alright, this is one really nice piece here. So what we're going to do is we're going to split it down. See if I can give you guys a little angle. Hopefully you guys can see. That's got some nice chutoro. Chutoro is like the fattier parts towards the muscle, towards like the back side of the fish, like where the skin is. Look at that cut. Oh man, that's gorgeous. So this is some number 1 grade for sure. I mean, it's beautiful. I love my tuna. Now there's going to be a thin line of sinew here that's not really usable for sashimi or tuna rolls. So we're just going to take that, remove it by going straight here. Now this piece here can be used for sashimi. That's really all we can use for spicy tuna on that one. That's a good sign. Shows the quality of the fish. Normally I cut that piece for myself. Tuna goes over here. And then we're back to this piece here. This piece is a little more difficult just because it's what they call the crown of the tuna. But you can also use that for the tops of like rainbow rolls and things like that. Whenever I'm cutting tuna, I make sure I only use one hand to move fish around. It becomes super important to just be as clean with the knife as possible, because it helps you speed up on your timing. Timing is everything when you're cutting fish. That's a good sashimi block. Now this is our best piece. I'd say I cut it a tiny bit too long because I'm over here talking, but I would have cut it a little bit shorter. So I'm, of course, everybody's always learning, and I'm still learning as well. Now it's just a matter of me cutting as many fish as possible. While I was in Tokyo, I was cutting about 3,000 pounds of fish a day. Well, not a day, I mean every 3 days, sorry. But I was still cutting a ton of fish every day. Now, I don't know if this stuff would be good for kitty cats, but I'm assuming that cats could probably eat that. So I think eventually I'm going to be making a cat food, my own brand of cat food based off the amount of fish we're cleaning. We don't want it to go to waste. And my kitty cats love good fish. They are spoiled kitty cats, that's for sure. Alright, so this is the tricky part. So down here is low, up here is high. You don't want to go too far off from the line of where the sinew is. This piece is even better. Beautiful. Really the only words I can describe fish with. It's an amazing fish, amazing thing to have access to. I'm very, very happy about that. I mean, sushi has been a passion of mine since I was about, I started it when I was 14, but it hasn't been a passion the entire time. It didn't become a passion until I was about 16-ish, maybe 17. And then I just became immersed and absorbed in it. And now I'm just a sushi addict. What can I say? Just love my sushi. So here's tray one. Probably going to be going into a smaller tray this time around. So this one's a bit different. You're just gonna kind of scoop this one out. The rest of that'll be all spicy tuna. And this is just the tail piece here, which is still very delicious and definitely worth taking care of and loving, just like the rest of the fish. And this is the waist right here. I'd say it's a good maybe pound and a half or so. That was about 10 pounds. Maybe it's 2 pounds. It could even be 3 pounds. It's roughly around that. But the point is there's a good 30% yield that we're going to have to waste on the 10 pounds here. So we got about 7 pounds of tuna. We'll get about 2 pounds of spicy tuna mix. The rest is all just regular sashimi and nigiri cuts and roll cuts. Well, there you go, guys. That's how you do tuna. And I'd say we kept it nice and clean for you. And that's always a challenge. I'm always thinking about how I'm getting, if I got yelled at by my, my mentor for not staying clean. So obviously that's a very important part of sushi. All right, guys. Peace. Don't forget to follow Sushiwill25 on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. We got all of them. All right.